But that, I mean, that's possible. But this really is, first place, the lots may be non-conforming now, but they weren't non-conforming when they were built.
Yeah,
And
that was Jim Moore's point. There was a pre-existing non-conforming lot.
Right. Mr. Nahal, Fred Metzger here. My apologies. I was trying to get in, but for some reason the original Zoom meeting wasn't allowing me in, and Allison was good enough to send me a different one, so I was able to. They said I kind of sat here trying to get in, but it wouldn't, so I'm in now. But kind of just to reiterate, like what Mr. Nahal was speaking about, the 3 lots, they're in a row. The first one, you know, with the 2 end ones having the improvement, but again, all 3 lots were approved back in 1966 and met all the requirements for the zoning back in 1966. And in essence, what we're doing is, you can call it a lot line adjustment, or basically a re-subdivision of the 3 lots to turn them into 2. And with the current zoning required, he will meet, or both the lots when they're done will meet all the requirements within the the RB residential buffer district, with the exception of the lot size, minimum lot size. And with the 3 there, but kind of like everyone has mentioned earlier, is that the non-conforming will become less non-conforming, bringing them closer to what they need to be to meet the zoning. So in a positive direction. So basically asking for the board to make a determination as to whether or not he would or would not need to go through and request an area variance to move forward with the project, or if they can make a decision as to, because of the fact that it's going in a less non-conforming direction, that they can just sign off on it to allow the process to proceed with the re-subdivision of the 3 lots into 2.
Oh, Jim, do you have any more comments or questions?
I don't. I would hate to create a scenario where we have we perversely incentivize or unintentionally incentivize applicants not making non-conforming situations better.
Yeah, and these guys were at PRT on Monday. Is that right? Was it Monday?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the consensus. So I guess I'll go through the list. Ralph, you have any comments or questions?
I just have one question. Was that lot in between 30 and 29, was that originally supposed to feed back into the lands of Red Mill Estates LLC?
no, that was originally laid out exactly the way it presently exists, and the land behind that was all part of a much bigger piece that was originally owned by, I think the last owner was Alakwa. And then it became part of Red Mill Estates, I forget how many years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
Because it looks to me like it was, it was laid out so that they had access to that parcel.
It may have been done unintentionally, but is the lot in between us? I don't have my map in front of me. Was that 20? Is that 29 between the 2 of us?
If you take the 2 sheds, you have 2 sheds drawn here and head to the back of the property. It looks like there's a right of way or an easement that leads back to the lands of Red Mill Estates LLC.
No, actually, that's part of lot 29. That's going to be conveyed and combined with Fawcett and Carroll.
Right. And there's all the lots behind that part of that parcel already have another house built on it over the last year and a half or 2.
Okay, because it
There's
doesn't.
no way
I
to
just
get
was curious.
beyond that.
I just was curious if it doesn't show a home, so that looks like it was lot 15 of Red Mill Estates.
Correct.
And it looks like it was laid out so it granted easement so you could get onto Oriole Lane.
Yeah, it's actually got its access further to the south. It got cut off of this map, but south of number 17, there's an access, a 60-foot wide access that leads to that one in the rear.
I just think we may want to make a comment or a stipulation in regards to the access, to anybody,
So
using that as an access.
as far as the action we're taking, they'll be coming back if they have to do a lot line adjustment, right, Joe?
Yep. So any conditions or
this is just-
stipulations should be
Okay.
can be put to it on then, Ralph.
Yeah, so
Okay.
all we would do is send this to the ZBA and say, we want an interpretation to see if we can actually take action on it.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
And that, what you're talking about, that 60-foot strip goes to land that I own behind it. It's attached to mine. I mean, it's basically unbuildable. On this side.
Well, people always find a way to build on stuff.
All right. No problem.
Ralph, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, Chris? You good? Kurt?
I am okay.
Kurt, you gotta change the mugs behind your head every meeting. John Panton? He's on mute, but he looks like he said he's good.
That's better, Kurt.
That's how my wife likes me, when I just on mute. Don't talk. John Conway?
I just want to be clear, maybe for my own curiosity, of the two structures that are involved here, are they both hooked up to sewer and water, municipal sewer and water, or not?
No, both of them have sewer hooked up to water. Or both of them are on septic, but they're hooked up to water.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, unmute.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Don. Now we can't. Now you're back on mute. Don, you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hear me now? Okay.
Any comments?
Yes, I'd send it to the ZBA for interpretation.
Okay, so I think that's everyone. I'm just trying to pull up the resolution here. I don't know why I can't read this. Joe, can you take a picture of the resolution and text it to me?
Opening up the Google link right now.
I'm in Google. It's got this big thing blocking it.
You want me to share it for you, Matt, to read online, or?
That works too. We're off to a hot start here tonight.
Early in the year.
Yeah, give us time.
You see
Okay,
it? Oh, what is that?
that's what I got on my screen.
That's weird.
Hmm.
No.
That should not be there. No, I'm trying to edit it and it's not letting me do anything with it. It's grabbing everything underneath it.
Can't wait until COVID's over.
Hold on, let me see if I can bring it up another way. Unbelievable.
I'm gonna
Adam,
download.
Matt, I can fill in the holes for you if you can't read certain
I
words.
think I got it.
Hold on, give me a minute. I should be able to bring it up
I
here.
got it. So, all right, and I'm going to make a motion for interpretation of the Hall Fawcett lot line adjustment in accordance with section 4.2.3 of the town's comprehensive zoning law. The planning board requests an interpretation from the zoning board of appeals in the following question: is there a lot line adjustment consisting of the elimination of vacant existing non-conforming lots by consolidation into adjacent occupied existing non-conforming lots may proceed without the need for variances from the current area and bulk standards. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
I don't know who that was. Second to Mr. Panton.
Yeah, I got it first.
I think Ralph beat him, but
That's all right. That's all right. I'll grab the next one.
Okay.
we'll see.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
yes,
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by a 7-0 vote.
All right. So we should,
Thank you, Phil.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. So we'll be on for, what was it, the 13th, I believe?
I don't know. We don't pay attention to ZBA. We just wait for them to send us information.
I
Always
think,
suspected that.
I think it's gonna be the 9th, Fred, but I will confirm by like tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Next, we have 2102 Greenbush Renewable, 180 to 200 American Oil Road for a major site plan. It's for presentation and seek a recommendation to the town board. I think we have Don Z and Steve Hart. Anyone else?
Jeff Mantell.
Okay.
Sean Gallivan.
All right. So who's going to present?
Steve Hart is going to start off.
That's unfortunate. Steve? Steve, are you on mute? Can't hear you, Steve. Steve is in fact on mute. You're on mute. So, yeah, maybe log out and log back in. There you go. You're good now, I think. No, it's connecting to audio. I can see it going now. All right, I think you're good. No, now you're mute. No, we can't hear you. All right, sounds good. Steve's gonna call in with his phone. All right. He's unmuted now.
Steve, I'll start off while Steve tries to get on. This is Donald Z. I'm the attorney for the applicant Green Renewable. And what they want to do, we have a 65-acre parcel that is located at 180 to 200 American Oil Road. The property is pretty much vacant right now, though people are currently farming the site. This property has been disturbed with the removal of topsoil and other materials from approximately 30 to 40 more years ago. A lot of the material was taken out by August Bowl for the partial construction of Route 787. What the applicant is seeking to do is to build what we call a manufacturing facility where they bring in yard waste, trees, wood, and other materials, and they convert it into mulch and other type of products, wood products for sale. And we want to build and get approvals for a 50,000 square foot building, which would be utilized to house the packaging facility that we propose. I don't know if Adam had sent out to you a video, but we presented a video of Sean Galvan, which is the Green Renewables principal facility in Manchester, New York. There we have a site, and they have one bagging line, and we are proposing possibly to install 2 bagging lines. Sean and his various companies currently have territory where they want to cover from Buffalo, New York to Massachusetts to provide these materials. He also has contracts with big box tenants for these materials, and we're really a recycling type business. We take in, as I said, these wood products. We then convert them into smaller pieces, and then we color them into a variety of colors, types. We have bark, we have mulch, etc. And then we bag them and ship them out. What we have currently in Rensselaer County is a site where we have 25 employees, and that's in Berlin, New York. We want to remove 8 of the employees from Berlin to this facility and add 20 more employees for a total of 32. That does not include the number of logistics or trucking employees that we would have to ship the materials. We chose this site because of its proximity to the highway system. According to Sean, it costs his company $2.88 per mile to ship these materials and deliver them, etc. And from Berlin to here, he winds up saving, 72 miles round trip. So this is a much better location for his operations because of the proximity to the highway system. There are adjoining properties that are light industrial or industrial type uses in this coastal industrial zone area. I'm going to let Sean speak for a minute with regard to a little bit more about his operations. As I said, we want to bring in a total of 25 more employees in addition to the 8 that are currently working in the Berlin site. So Sean, if you could take a few minutes.
Thank you, Don. I'm Sean Gallivan. I reside in Rensselaer County. I grew up in Brunswick. I don't currently reside in Rensselaer County, but my businesses, a lot of them are in Rensselaer County. So we do operate lawn and garden bulk and packaging facilities that cover all of New York State. As Don said, from Buffalo to Albany, down below the Tappan Zee Bridge, right up to the Canadian border. Western New York covers Pennsylvania, Ohio. So we're pretty involved in the lawn and garden packaging business. Many of our clients are the box stores. All the box stores, you see a lot of the private labeled products that are at the box stores and all their various names. A lot of times I'm the manufacturer behind the scenes where our name might not be on the products, but we're the co-brand or co-manufacturer for the national companies. We also do have our own brand that we service approximately 1,000 independent lawn and garden nurseries throughout Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and New York. And those packages as well in our own brand are manufactured and distributed at my own facilities. Many of you guys are familiar with the Stewart's kiln-dried firewood, Price Chopper kiln-dried firewood, Burnright kiln-dried firewood. Again, I am the owner and manufacturer of those products for all those clients as well. Here on the site, we would have an approximately 50,000 square foot building, indoor packaging. We have outdoor storage of the finished goods as well as the bulk ingredients. The bulk ingredients derive from forest byproducts. We buy forest products from lumber mills. We also work hand in hand with town and municipalities in managing their wood waste, what we call green waste, which are their leaf and limb products that they generate at the town. We operate and manage some of their composting facilities. We take that product off the streets and we turn it into, we rejuvenate that product, recycle that product, and make various potting soils, soil amendments. There's about 85 different products we currently are putting in a package. So this site would greatly give us an opportunity to hit the highway system better, to have a good workforce to bring to work. We're close to the bus lines. We fit within the neighborhood, if you would. I know that there's on the way to this site, some of it is not in the town, but some of it is in the city of Rensselaer, and there's like type industrial businesses on the way to and from the site. If you have any questions specifically, feel free to ask.
In addition, from an environmental, we had submitted a long form EAF, but I wanted to point out that we have had North Country Ecological come in here and delineate both the federal wetlands as well as the New York State wetlands and the 100-foot buffer. We recognize that this area is sensitive from an archaeological standpoint as well, and we've had a phase 1A archaeological study done. We have communicated with SHPO, and SHPO has requested, and we have agreed with the establishment of a meeting which would incorporate SHPO, New York State DEC, and the Army Corps of Engineers, and ultimately it would also include one of the Indian tribes which are involved, has some history with this property. So we understand that all has to be done during the secret review process, and we've already started that, and we hope to hear back as to the exact date for the meeting with all of those agencies involved. We had during our PR.
Don, sorry to interrupt. I just want to, is Steve Hart on? We've been trying to figure out how to get him onto this meeting. Steve, can you talk?
He's on, Matt, but he said he tried to call in and he got a message that the meeting hadn't started yet. So I don't know. He seems to be having some kind of, he says he can hear you guys, but he says you guys can't hear him. Or we can't hear him.
Maybe it's for the best. Sorry, Don. Carry on.
The aerial that you have here, as Sean had mentioned, there are a lot of light industrial type neighbors operations, and that's why Sean believes this is our project is compatible with what the adjoining property uses are. And as I said, we've already started with regard to the secret review, with regard to communication with the Army Corps, DEC, SHPO, etc. At the same time, when we had our PRT meeting the other day, the town had a designated engineer present, and we talked about the need for a traffic report or analysis done, traffic study. And it's my understanding that we are looking to get a quote from Creighton Manning. And once we have that finalized, that we would be reaching out to the PDE to coordinate exactly the scope of the analysis that they would like for our project. We understand that there has been some discussion about the capacities or the durability of the existing road, and that's something that we would be looking into as well. So as I said,
Adam joined us. Adam, we have 2 TDEs that are going to team up, right?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, one would be GPI that is going to do the technical review of the things like the SWIP, that traffic study, and any of the other, probably several studies that are going to get done. And then we also, we typically will hire a special counsel to assist with seeker issues and also inter-board coordination. Unfortunately, we weren't able to avail ourselves of our normal special counsel services for this project. So we've hired Nan Stolzenberg, or we're planning to have her involved on to address seeker issues. She's a planner and an expert in seeker, and has a lot of experience in that domain. So she would be kind of GPI would be developing the materials, but she would be sort of overseeing the process both procedurally and substantively.
Sorry, Don, didn't mean to interrupt at the end.
Some of the other issues that were raised, in fact, Nan had asked about the type of equipment that we utilize here, and we had talked that we had used wheel loaders, and that for mixing of materials, and Sean went into depth and talking about it. Basically, he's like a chef and taking, he has his recipe for the variety of finished product that he would have utilized on the site that he would ultimately be marketing and selling. In addition to that, as he said, the bagging process would be in the building itself. We would have storage of finished product, and we would have storage of the materials that we would be using. And Sean, if you would talk about the peak seasons that you have of your operation.
Sure. So the packaging, the indoor packaging runs very, very strong from September through June. The package business, that's really when we're in our high. We run a 24-hour shifts, two 12-hour shifts consistently at these facilities. So we're able to produce enough. We're forced to produce in the off sales months so aggressively due to the fact you really aren't able to package enough in season for the demand. Therefore, that's why we have as much lay down area for our finished goods as you see on the plan. So those rows represent pallets. There's generally 65 bags of material on each pallet. And at times when we're going into the season, we'll have 35 to 45,000 pallets of finished goods ready to deliver to the market. Our season is probably a little slow for a few months. The July, August tends to be on the slower side. And it's only right around the corner. We're back into the following season.
There are environmental issues that were raised at the PRT. The site is over an aquifer, so obviously we have to analyze the impacts of this project and make sure that we do not adversely affect the aquifer. There was question raised with regard to whether there are stream crossings or whether we are proposing to create any stream crossings. And according to Steve, there are existing stream crossings. We're going to look at it just to make sure that our crossings are wide enough for emergency services. And we think that if we need to widen any of the stream crossings, we would do it in a manner which we would not impact any of the wetlands. I talked about the fact that we have wetlands on site, and noise was raised as a question, and I think Steve had mentioned or measured off that the nearest residence, and that is also functions as a business, is approximately 270 feet away, and we would be providing a noise analysis. There was questions about lighting, and we would really have minimal light here at this property in and of itself, and we don't think that we would have any adverse consequence and all the light fixtures would be pointed downward if we did have any. But we understand that was a question that was raised as well. At this point, I'm more than happy to answer any questions I apologize that I didn't get to a lot of the engineering things that we left for Steve to present, but I know he'll have his.
I do have Steve by voice here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear him.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get through one planning board meeting without hearing from Steve.
Steve, can you try speaking to the group?
Yeah, are you guys able to hear me by any chance?
I can hear him.
I can hear you.
I mean, was that a yes? I've been able to hear the whole meeting, and I'm in process now of trying to restart my computer because it didn't seem like my microphone was working. But I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm happy to answer questions, but also to explain a little bit more about the project. But I heard 95%.
Yeah, if you just let Steve know that he could hear it, we can hear him.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, well, it seems I may have just gotten on the computer. You guys hear me?
No. Steve, just talk through the phone.
Okay. But I'm getting an echo as if I'm on the computer.
Oh, now you're good. Yeah, we can hear you over the computer now.
You're hearing me?
Yep.
All right, I apologize. I couldn't get on, my computer was going through the window here at my office, so be buying a new one that's Apollo block.
I hope so.
So I apologize for the delay. I did hear everything that was being mentioned by Sean and by Don. In essence, you had two site plans in front of you. The initial black and white site plan was a blow up of what you see inside of that red line. And I felt it was important, number one, to give the board members an idea where this project is located, and then also to give us an idea as far as what neighbors we had around us. So our property fronts on American Oil Road. On top of that map that you see in front of you now is the Hudson River, if you can see that highlighted. And then basically everything else is what's operable inside of the Port of Rensselaer right now. You've got some gas terminals before and after us on the riverside. Alongside of us to the south, we've got a current yard that's operated by MSC Realty that you can see disturbed in a little bit to the left of us, again, the south. And that would be their heavy equipment and storage and processing yard. Within our parcel, on the far right-hand side of our map, you see where it says approved asphalt recycling facility. There's currently an operation in there where they string and mill asphalt product in that area there. And then next to us, just off our property to the north, is where Lauren Bro recently, probably a couple years ago, was approved for his asphalt batch plant. And then we've got another truck terminal. So really, I just want to highlight a lot of those areas so we understand the neighborhood that's out there right now. Honestly, I think what we're proposing as green renewable is less obtrusive than what's there. We've got a 50,000 square foot building in the back half of our site. In the front of our site, as Sean had mentioned, we've got a lot of lay down and pallet storage area. And the same thing on the left part of our site, to the left or the south of our building, that's another pallet lay down area there as well. To the right side of our building is where we do a little bit of work and process some of the raw materials that come in. And that's shown, we call that out as a proposed processing area there. As Don had mentioned, we've been in touch with SHPO, the Army Corps of Engineers, DEC. This area is sensitive to SHPO, so we've been in touch with SHPO and going to be setting up calls with the Indian nations, which I think is the Mohicans, that have some relevance down here. So we've got a lot of the environmental issues in motion. And certainly this is the first time that we're in front of the planning board. So certainly any feedback that you guys may have or questions, we know from an environmental standpoint, we've got our work cut out for us. Monday night, we were in front of PRT with Nan Stolzenberg and also GPI as far as the review consultants on behalf of the town. So we went through a laundry list of things they want us to look at. And certainly we'll address all those issues as the process unfolds. And again, if you guys have comments or concerns, we'll do our best to address them. And again, I apologize for the delay in getting on.
All right, thanks, Steve. Yeah, so before I solicit comments, I just want to say the action that is proposed before the board tonight is to recommend the town board initiate the seeker process. So we'll start with Jim Moore. Jim, do you have any comments or questions?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Ralph?
Just a quick question in regards to the processing process. Do you plan on using hardwoods, or are you going to have a shredding operation where you're going to take in used pallets and lumber and shred that?
We have a mix of that. We use all wood products. So we do grinding and processing of wood residual, whether it's butt ends from a logging operation or whether it's a pallet. But I would say, 80% of the materials that come in are sized to a 6-inch minus before it even gets to our facility. So at that point, it would go through a screening process. We like to use screens versus grinders, if at all possible, because we're able to segregate the products to different sizes quite a bit more efficient than you can when you're grinding something. So we leave the amount of grinding to the limited amount that we have to do, but we do grinding and processing of pallet and wood ends.
And then do you typically spray the piles to get the different colors, Sean? Is that how
We
it's
don't.
done?
We don't. If you're familiar with like they call them pug mills in the asphalt industry,
Yeah.
or like a blacktop plant where stone goes into a barrel and then it's colored inside, our coloring actually happens inside a machine.
Okay.
So, and when it comes out the other end, it's already impregnated, if you would, with the color of choice. It's all biodegradable colorants. It's all a food colorant, if you would. It's very, very known throughout the DECs, if you would. Any of the enforcements that are out there, we do have, MSDS sheets on all the products that we use and that we produce. So it's very eco-friendly.
Yeah, well, I looked at the video. It's definitely a highly sophisticated operation. So I applaud you there.
Well, thank you. It's been a long time. This is, it marks 30 years that I've been in the business. I started very primitive as a young farm boy on the backwoods of our farm. And it's grown today where we have 160 plus employees in the lawn and garden logistics industry, supplying these products across the strait. We kind of were lured, and we're still being lured to put this facility in Massachusetts, just over the state lines. And as some of the contracts, ask us to produce for the manufacturing or for the distribution over in Massachusetts. This plant here will distribute into I would say exit 6 or exit 7 in Massachusetts. So they're trying to push us to be over there. But being a Rensselaer County boy and having the interest of being able to manage a facility, I'd like to have it in our home area.
Yeah, I certainly think this type of operation, meets the intent of the zoning. Ralph, you know a thing or two about coloring block, right?
Yeah, same thing. I just, it's like I said, it's amazing. If you look at the video, it's, as Sean says, in the 30 years where, they were, splitting wood and shredding it by hand and throwing some color on it with a hose and dye, it's come a long way. So,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ralph, are you good?
Yes, I'm good.
All right, Chris?
Just a quick question. I'm sorry if I missed this, but the Gold Crest Farms property that looks like it's across the street from the site, what is that an operating farm right now? What is?
Yeah, they grow a ton of trees. They supply a lot of trees to I think it's Thruway projects.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that.
So
Steve?
they've got some farmland down there, and they sell products. And you're correct, Matt. That at least at the time that used to be Chris Webb, and I think Chris still operates out of there. So, and he may have his residence. I don't know if he's got a residence or his little business office off on the right there next to the auto sale place. But so they are right there. We have every intention to follow up with them, and I know they'll be notified by the town for any public hearings that are held as well, but we want to be very proactive with the neighbors out there, so we'll plan on being in touch with all of them, just like the town will. And there, so Chris, just so you know, that's the railroad tracks that are in between us, and they're just on the opposite side of the tracks. They front on 9J, just so you know, where you guys see Goldcrest Farm.
Oh, okay.
That highway in front of it is 9J.
Okay, gotcha. All right, great. I'm all set for now.
All right, thanks, Chris. Kurt?
Yes, a couple questions, Mr. Galvin. The raw materials besides trees and those, do you accept any wood C&D material?
We don't accept C&D. We are not in the C&D business, no. It's all biodegradable, and we have wood recycling permits and registrations, but we are not in the C&D business.
Okay, so there's no construction, wood construction?
No, it's not.
Okay, oh, that's great. Okay, good. And again, I didn't see the video yet, but the operation, does it take place inside, the grinding operation take place inside the facility, or is that an outside operation?
The grinding and sizing of the material happens outside. What happens inside the buildings is the packaging of the material. We even store our finished goods outside. Therefore, it's less invasive to any sort of concerns. One of the concerns was they asked us whether we store stuff in warehousing as far as the wood products, finished goods, and finished goods are stored outside. So there's no fire concerns or spontaneous combustion concerns inside the building.
And then my last question was, and I know you're doing a traffic study, do you have a feel for about how many trucks will be transporting in and out per day?
I do. I'm going to refer that to Don because we were working on the traffic numbers the other day. And Don, I don't have any notes in front of me.
We had figured out, based on the number of yards of material and everything, that during the average course of a day that there would be 10 trucks coming in with raw materials, and obviously they would be leaving empty. And then we would be leaving with 10 trucks that would be shipped, delivering materials or finished product to customers. With regard to those trips, you have to understand that most of our shipping occurs before 6 o'clock in the morning because they have to be at the stores. And what we try to do is have our trucks which ship the materials, they come in at night. So they're there in the evening time ready to be loaded. Okay. So we have approximately 40 trips. Half of those trips are with empty vehicles. And then we have, as I said, around the 32 employees. We figure that in and out, we would figure there's a total around 50 or so trips with employees, 25, 30 cars coming in, leaving during the course of the day.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
So Kurt, to your point about the C&D, we can certainly, when it gets to that point, I think we would recommend that the town board put a condition on it that there is no C&D that is recycled. And just something else I thought of while you were talking, Kurt, is that it would be helpful to get some kind of an architectural rendering of what this building is going to look like. It's certainly going to be visible from the city of Albany. I just always have fears of ending up like the Dunn landfill and us getting blamed for that. So
right. No, that's right.
And Sean, that's no slight on you or your business or us trusting you. It's
no problem. We can give you renderings. It look very similar to the buildings you see in the port on the way through. Nice presented steel building, lights and landscaping around it.
Yeah, no, it'll be helpful for us as far as a review, and it's also going to be helpful for you, to get through the process, I think.
Sure.
Right. And one of the questions I did have, but I think you addressed at least initially is on the dyes that go in there. Obviously the DEC and everybody else, if people are putting this dye material around their houses, it's got to be safe, so I'll make that leap of faith, that assumption, and it's not a concern.
No. worldwide used.
Thank you.
All the materials are used throughout the world.
Great. Thank you. So, Kurt, you're good?
I'm good, all set.
All right. Don Panton?
Yeah, where are the trucks going to be pulling out? Are they going to use the American Oil Road, or are they going to try to pull out on the 9J?
They're coming out of.
They'll be pulling out on the 9J from American Oil Road all the way out to the light at 9J, close to where the bridge and the overpass is on 9 and 20.
Oh, so they'll be going back into Rensselaer to pull out.
That is correct.
Okay. That was my question. I was trying to figure out how they're going to get the 9J.
All right, Don, anything else?
No, that'll be it.
Thanks, Don. John Conway?
Well, as long as we've got the aerial view up there, I just want to get myself oriented a little bit here. I'm wondering where Papaskany Preserve starts. Is that at the far left? Is that little parking lot down there currently? Do you know?
Papaskany? Yeah, I think that's to the left of that.
Yeah, and the creek, just so you know, is a little waterway. If you see between the back half of our parcel and the front half of our parcel, you'll see a rectangular, long and narrow shape. That is the Papaskany right in there. It's a sort of a termination point right at the end of our site where it boxes itself off, and it flows right to left on the page, if you can see it there.
Yes, I think I do. I see it. And but the parking lot for the preserve is at the very end of American Oil Road there. I can see in the picture. Is that right?
Personally, John, I would need to confirm that for you. I don't know if one of the board members or maybe Adam has a better idea, but I'd have to confirm that location.
Yeah, John, that's right. There is a kiosk there. It's kind of, you could see the road swing into the terminal, and there's a building there. It's kind of, to the down direction from the building. That's where that trail, not much of a parking area there. There's another trailhead that's actually in Skodak. I forget the name of that road, but there's a crossing that's not particularly safe there with 100-mile-an-hour trains and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And just in terms of the appearance of the property, the pallets will be stored as we saw at the video, right? It'd be exactly the same as the
That's
other.
correct.
So
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. Is there any thought to what sort of landscaping goes around that area of the property, or is it just going to be open to?
John, the town does have a code, so this would either be, I'm just thinking out loud here, either a type 1 or a type 4 landscaping would be required along the frontage that we have there. So most of our landscape per code is some trees and shrubs. They may be 30 to 40 feet on center along the frontage, but that's right out of your code book, and I know the board enforces that pretty well. So with respect to landscaping, that probably would be something we would need to follow.
All right. Very good. Thank you. I'm good.
Very good. All right. So any objections to making a seeker recommendation to the town board?
Matt, if I may, I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
The fencing or the site access is one question. What will that, how is that going to look? The second thing, the relationship of the project to that approved asphalt recycling facility. And then the other thing, and I don't think it's an issue, but the rail frontage, is there, I mean, I'm assuming, that's off your property and there's no real need to involve, I think that's Amtrak or CSX there.
We aren't doing anything with Amtrak or CSX.
That makes sense.
And the milling and screening area there, Adam, that we have called out as the approved asphalt recycling, I think that's been there over a dozen years now. That is on the right portion of our project, and maybe Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but we weren't looking to put that out of operation, right? I think the current landowner has an agreement with with that operation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We were just going to leave it just the way it is as an approved site and let, just keep that going and support commerce, a like type customer that's alongside us working.
And they've got an access road into their site now. We're thinking we're sharing that, and when we get into more design detail, we'll confirm where it is, or we'll either share their access or ours is a little bit to the south of that. And we'll make sure we, like on design plans, we'll make sure we call that out. And Adam, your question on the site access, what exactly was that, as far as what you asked what that would look like? Is that,
Yeah, in terms of aesthetics, I think, the appearance along the road, do you typically fence these? Is there going to be concertina wire? It sounds like it's going to be pretty busy with truck traffic. So, access in and out, it sounds like it's going to be occupied, a lot of the time. But that's another concern I know that our code officer has on occasion is, if it's out of operation, access control.
I think they said 10 trucks, right? That's significantly less than a lot of facilities in the town. Not trying to counter your point, Adam. I'm just, throughout a business day, 10 trucks isn't that much.
Well, they're on the off hours too. That's the other thing.
And are you talking about fire and health safety access?
Yeah, and also just the appearance of any fencing or anything that might be used to control access.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with the appearance as opposed to 10 trucks a day.
so Sean, on the appearance and your product safety, security is, do you look to fence off your sites, or don't you have concerns with people maybe coming on your site? Not that someone would be coming on grabbing a pallet, right?
Right. So the pallet you really can't pick up and steal. So that really isn't an issue. We would definitely abide by your landscaping rules and regulations out front. We are in the green industry. We'd want to adapt and look beautiful in our presentation, whether we're an industrial manufacturer or not. I would say your gate access hasn't been totally thought about, whether it's a shared access. But I mean, some sort of gate structure out front so people aimlessly aren't coming to and from. We would be very code friendly to, the authorities and, the people that have an interest that you would request to have access to the site. We aren't going to gate ourselves off and not provide the proper access.
Thank you. One other question is signage. That's a building inspector prerogative, but we try to get into that a little bit at this phase as well, so that we coordinate if any relief, for example, from the sign code is needed. We can address that, in parallel, right? Because that would go through the ZBA. So if you don't have any plan, are you planning a sign first and then, it doesn't meet the code is the second question.
Right. So my thought are there's no reason that we won't meet the code. I haven't looked at the code specifically, but we aren't trying to track or attract, clients per se from a retail point of view. We're really trying to do identification to the facility for the logistics partners and our employees. So I don't see any reason that we would have a sign issue. Currently, the signs that we have aren't extravagant. In the Manchester, New York facility, it's a concrete precast sign that we went over the top of from the existing company, and really nothing to be concerned about there.
You got
signage in, Sean.
One or two sign companies down there on 9J.
There is.
Yeah, there is.
I know we're early into this, but even if we had a berm along the American Oil Road, a 4-foot berm, and then put your landscaping on top of that, that would also help block some of that, some of your packaging material.
I like the idea, and that gives some green aesthetics out front. Right. So I have no problem showing that nice berm going up through there.
Thank you.
Adam, are you good?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Yes.
You can call me Matt. All right. Is everyone else good? Sounds like it. So with that, I'm sorry, does the applicant have anything else? All right.
I think I'm fine on my end.
No, we weren't
I
asking.
should talk longer. It took me a while to get on, right? Let me keep going.
Steve, we never want you to keep going.
I have one thing to add. I mean, as most people probably put a project in front of you, my biggest hurdle is going to be time frame. So this project was brought to us in late fall. It was actually brought to us last year, and it was held up even as a concept. Then the pandemic hit. So our hopeful pre-spring thoughts of putting this thing out and kind of getting our hands around it were slim to none. So now we sit here we have a requirement on February 4th to reach back to our two of our clients to tell us whether we're going to push towards that Massachusetts facility, which nicely, it's actually pre-built, the building. The grounds need some modification, or we're going to, stick to home base and put our put the products where we want them, right here in the Capital District. So I need some direction, and unfortunately, I'm going to need to put, and there's really not a lot of physical work to be done on putting this building in this project together. I'm going to need to put a shovel in the ground sooner than later, late spring, early summer by the latest, in order to meet the late fall, August, September packaging. All the equipment has been ordered, so it's a matter of where I ship it, whether I ship it to Mass or whether I put it on hold and ship it a little bit later once the building's it's already up. As Don said, we currently package in the Berlin area, and we aren't going to stop doing that. We're just only going to add opportunity. We need a little bit of direction whether we're going to be able to get close to our time restraints.
Yeah, so I can't guarantee anything, but what I can tell you is, for a major site plan or a project of this size, from the members of this board, I didn't hear a lot of, negative feedback. This is not going to be a project that gets, we're going to make a recommendation to the town board, the major site plan.
Sure.
So I can't make any promises as far as what they do, but I would say tonight was a positive feedback from this board relative to your project. It seems to meet the intent of what is supposed to go down on the, in the OC zone down there. I'd love to give you a timeline. I'm just not the right person to do it. I would, and no one on this board's a politician, so, we just review this stuff and we make the best recommendations we can.
Well, I appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, I don't know if that was helpful at all. I feel like
No, it was. Gave me some guidance.
Talking circles. All right, are you good, Sean?
I am.
All right. All right, with that, I'll make a motion for recommendation for town board to declare lead agency and initiate a coordinator review under seeker. The planning board hereby recommends that the project be classified as a type 1 action under seeker, as it is a non-residential activity involving the physical altercation of 10 acres, 6 CRR NY 617.4 B16, and hereby recommends that the town board declare its intent to seek lead agency status in connection with the coordinator review under seeker. The planning board hereby further recommends that the town board direct that notices to all involved interested agencies requesting their consent to designation of the town board as lead agency under seeker review of the project. The following involved and interested agencies under seeker have been identified. NYS DEC, NYS DOT Region 1, NYS Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Rensselaer County Health Department, Rensselaer County IDA, Rensselaer County Economic Development and Planning, New York State Department of State, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Bruin Rescue Squad, East Greenbush Fire Department, Department of Public Works, East Greenbush Department of Public Works, Town of East Greenbush Planning Board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Bergman got it.
Bert got me.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by 7-0 vote.
We appreciate you guys joining us. Steve, thanks for finally joining us. And we'll, I think we'll be seeing you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Appreciate you as well.
Allison, what's next on the agenda? I exited out of it somehow.
The Gilligan Road feasibility study.
Adam, what's that about?
Matt, don't sound so enthusiastic. I guess let me just first say I regret the difficulty this evening with I did not see it. I hesitate to even watch the beginning of the meeting because it probably was not very, although Taylor salvaged it. Taylor is a rock star. So I do regret the difficulty in getting this together. Did you guys postpone that public hearing because of that? Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, but yeah, we know.
And never mind.
She's a rock star, and she picked up your slack.
Yeah.
Have to reschedule the public hearing.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Time do you need?
Yeah, you want to do that now, quick?
Yeah, while we're talking about it, sure.
Can I just say I make a motion to reschedule it?
Yeah, but Allison, what date is good for you, considering you have to send out notices and everything?
I just have to get it to the paper, and I think I will have enough time if you schedule it for the 10th of February.
Great.
Is that good, Joe?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to reschedule the Sherman minor 2-lot subdivision public hearing for February 10th, 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Don Panton. Ralph, where are you at?
I'm staying out of it tonight. I was beat twice.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by 7-0 vote.
I didn't see John was on mute. I thought he was going to say no. All right, Adam. Gilligan Road. You're on mute, Adam.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. I guess maybe what to do here is we could do this over the next couple of meetings. I'm not fully prepared to do a really detailed presentation, and we have some work that needs to be done by our consultant. Let me.
If you're not, well, I would just caveat, just chime in that if you're not fully prepared, do you want to prepare something like a PowerPoint?
Well, what I think, let me just introduce the concept, if that's okay, and then I will send around some of these materials, and then maybe we can talk a little bit at the next meeting, if that works. I don't necessarily think we need a formal presentation, but I think there are some details that I'm probably not going to get conveyed to you very well. But I wanted to at least get the idea and the project out to the board so that you guys have some input on this project. I think it's in the board's wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. The project involves addressing a project that was identified by the Complete Streets workshop that was held, I think it was in the summer of 18.
So that was is that part of the exercise that you presented to us and we came up with some of our ideas of what were priorities?
Absolutely, yes, yes. So that project grew out of that workshop, which was supported by CDTC and some of their consultants. So the idea is to install a side path along Gilligan Road. There are a number of pedestrian generators in the area. Obviously Goff Middle School, and the ball field complex, but the Turner Ave neighborhood, as well as to the south, the crisscrossing and Taylor Estates, and then up to the north is Columbia Turnpike and connections potentially up to the Albany Hudson Electric Trail, and then this is the town center area. This is a utility right away that the town has for sanitary. So that's another option. So the idea is to look at installing this side path to increase non-motorized transportation options through here. There's back in 01, I think, it might have been 03, actually one of our board members' daughter was unfortunately and tragically involved in a vehicle crash here, I believe crossing the road at Turner Ave. So there's a safety component to this. Gilligan Road is one of the the busiest town roads in town. I think it's like 1,600 trips per day. So there's the project is to identify some phased concepts, get them to a feasibility level with engineering design so that we can work with partners to implement over time. Initially, we would be looking at mainly connecting the middle school and the golf and the ball fields. Over time, part of the project that CDTC supported and CDRPC through a small technical assistance grant is to look at some of these neighborhood connections. So that's what's shown on here. So in terms of one of the drivers also is a partnership with the school district. They're very supportive of the side path concept and making this connection. And they're willing to construct the portion of the trail that's on their facility. So we have some support from the capital cost and then the design of the detailed design of this section. One of the things
don't pay for that blue phase or that blue section.
That's the blue, yeah. Up to the town owns a portion of this parking area. So my understanding is that they can't spend money off of school property. So the town may need to.
There's a weird setup there. There was some weird agreement as to how it got paid.
Yeah, the town managed it and the school paid for it, I think. I think was how Scott Gallery was involved in that, in the paving. We have, and I will share the final draft of the CDTC prepared a report, which we need to wrap into a feasibility study that would be adopted hopefully by the town board. The other part of the process, we had a stakeholder meeting with a number of representatives, East Greenbush Police Department, DPW, some representatives of the ball fields school district, and then the project team from the town and CDTC. Dahlia was leading this until she left for Buffalo. She was heavily involved in getting us to this point. In terms of the next steps, CDTC put together this report and developed this alignment. We have some concepts of the potential cross sections, a 10 to 12 foot trail. There are some constraints along the roadway. I'm not going to be able to show those right now, but there are there's some minimum separation from the road. That GPI is our consultant on this, and they're going to be reviewing the sections and also doing detailed stamped drawings for the crossings that would be part of this phase 1 project. There would be a crossing at each turn in north and south. In the future, the trail would actually cross. There would be a crossing of Gilligan there, and that would look more like, I don't know if you've ever been up to up in Saratoga, or actually now this is in Saratoga, that Railroad Run Trail. This is the golf course over here. Now at the Route 4 AHET crossing is an option that green unless actuated. But in any event, that's future. But we on Monday, GPI should provide us some additional feedback on the detailed engineering aspects of this, including those 2 crossings and the section and its feasibility, given the grades and all that stuff. So I guess I will send you this stuff and a bit of a summary about where we are and where we're aiming to go. And I'll circulate that draft report so you can take a look in my table of contents for the feasibility study. Like I said, we're probably going to do a public hearing with the town board. The school district's capital budget is a couple of years out. And with the pandemic, there's probably some more uncertainty in terms of school budgets. So, it's going to take a little bit of time to get this into their capital cycle. So it's not a huge short-term priority, but it is a priority, and we do have a really good partnership. One thing I did want to mention too is at the ball field, we've got all of these aisles and multiple points of access onto Gilligan. One of the things that the engineers that we discussed and that our consultant is going to look at is reducing the, doing some access management here and potentially creating some aisles or other ways for we might need to sacrifice some parking area, but again, we've got a nice link down to the school district parking area, the golf parking area down here. So we need to look at that. We probably need another stakeholder meeting with the school district because it's their property and with the ball field stakeholders. The other thing to quick mention is the school district wasn't super in favor of this connection. So that's probably out, mostly because of the extra traffic, mainly public traffic potentially going through here, going through the school district's property. So that was initial thought, but we eliminated that after that stakeholder meeting. So
yeah, I think you could likely just walk across the field anyway, right?
Yeah. Riding a bike might be a pain, but yeah.
But I think the orange section, if you were to have a sidewalk or something like that, that would be nice to have. Taylor Estates has a lot of houses in it.
And over to I guess the parks is sort of the Park South neighborhood.
Patalas and Rugby, all those roads.
Like, having, there's a really, there's significant potential to sort of leverage this.
At the end of the green trail, there's I think there's a house that's built into the hill in the ground. We used to go drink beer in the woods with Ralph's son.
With Ralph's son.
You're making me old for that.
So if you guys, if you want to send, if there are any thoughts, at this point, it's not a done deal, but it's fairly well fleshed out. But we'd appreciate and be looking for, the board's input, and then also to make you aware of this as the area develops.
Yeah, I think at first glance, I think this is great. I mean, I applied for a grant with CDTC, I think 9 or 10 years ago, after Jim Moore abandoned me working for the town. But and it was for exactly that blue section. Put an application together and we didn't get it. So it's nice to see something like this come to fruition. But anyone else have any comments, questions?
Yeah, so are there questions now, or do we email them to you, Adam? What's the preference?
Either way, and we can maybe, email is great because, I'll be able to, squirrel that away. And then I can circulate that with our consultants and, stakeholders. If I'm ready to take notes or answer other questions, or, we could do more next time.
I would say, Adam, why don't you send out whatever this study is, let people read through it, and then, we can do a combination of emails and talk about it at the next meeting.
Okay.
I think this will be fabulous for the town. Just one point, Adam, when you said that they were going to be looking at reducing entryways onto Gilligan Road, especially around that ball field area, having lived through about a decade of Little League. The cars, when Little League is in season, just park haphazardly everywhere, and they don't really pay much attention to where the formal entrances are to Gilligan Road. They just pull up on the grass and pull out in anywhere they can. So, thinking through having some sort of guardrail or something to protect the trail going through there, so cars aren't trying to drive over the trail, from the ball fields.
And that's something that's unique that we didn't. I think Chris Cornwell from GPI had an example of that in another. See, like this is where we started, But yeah, there aren't a lot of good examples of a multi-use trail going through a parking area like that in the region. But, Chris had one, I think. I'll bring that for next time. And that's something we'll probably talk about on Monday too.
Yeah, maybe the trail is better suited on the other side. I don't want to get into details of this because I'm sure you guys have thought this out, but
I think the right of way there is the issue because it might make sense to have it cross at turn in, but then there are two single family homes there fairly close to the road. This would keep it mostly on public property. The owner of this related to Tyler has trying to remember how he encountered this, but he did express some support for this. So I think, and also his project too.
Yeah, it's owned by Whitbeck.
Yeah,
and that's his family. It seems like a good project. I mean, especially as Chris alluded to, during baseball season, there's a ton of kids that are running around there. So it's good to have walkways and traffic control so that so we can keep the kids safe. Also the adults, I guess. All right, Adam. So you'll distribute this, and then we can provide email comments, and then we can regroup next meeting.
Yeah, and one thing too, maybe we can kick around over email is if the board wants to make any kind of recommendation in support, or make it formal. If not, that's not, that's kind of obviously that's your prerogative. And the feasibility study would reflect that, we solicited and you guys gave input on various things. But that's another kind of option too.
I mean, if it's something that's going to help get grant money or make the project more favorable, again, we haven't seen the study, but I think absolutely, why wouldn't we do some kind of recommendation saying that we should move forward with it? It's no skin off our back, really. It's just us giving our opinion.
Yes, I'll circulate and be prepared for next Wednesday, or second Wednesday in February.
No, you be prepared. You be prepared.
I'm going to give you some suggestions Monday on how to change that parking lot area to have just an in and out egress. Did I hear that?
Yeah, that was something we talked about. It wasn't it's a known need to come up with some ideas, but given the number of given the potential changes and the loss in parking being one of them, but also the other stakeholders, it's probably going to need to go through them as well. But certainly if you guys have thoughts on that,
I mean, one thought about the access, and if they are proposing to take away parking spots, that's going to have a big effect on turn and Ave, because that's always been an issue where people
that came up, parking on Turn and Ave. Yeah.
I mean, when I was in Little League, it was a crusher run parking lot, and then they paved it 4 years ago or something like that. So maybe it's improved since then, but once they get overrun, then people go to Turn and Ave and park up there, or they park in the lawn and Goff.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to turn it into a parking lot haven, but maybe there's a possibility of adding a smaller parking lot. They've added another field closer to the school, and maybe a smaller, maybe a smaller lot there may alleviate some of the parking along Gilligan Road.
Right.
But it is an issue. I know, as Chris said, I did the same thing. I mean, he spent 8 years there, and you just got there early, and you left before everybody else did, because it's havoc, and there's no signage, there's no direction in out. Everybody just pulls in, like you said, any aisle they want, and I think that's, to me personally, that's where I'd like to start, and to me that's a major area that really needs to be cleaned up. It's pretty easy to put a side path along the road, but the two intersections plus the parking lot, those are the major areas.
Yeah, or even if they could do something near the, kind of near between that softball field and the minor league field.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely need for some additional overflow parking, and everybody's lazy. They're not going to park in a school and walk all the way over to the Little League field.
Yeah.
Joe is our resident baseball expert. He might have fallen asleep by now.
He's muted.
Well, I'll let you know how it goes. I've got 2 kids starting T-ball this year, so.
Great.
Perfect. I'll be about 3 years behind you, or 2 years behind. All right. So, yeah, Adam, so we'll look forward to you emailing this out, and then we'll get you some comments, and we'll circle back next meeting.
Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you, Matt.
No, thank you, Adam.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Allison, what do we got next? Minutes?
Yes. Everybody can vote but Jim Moore.
January, what was the date?
13th.
I knew that. I read them so extensively. They were very well done. With that, I'll make a motion. Or any comments, questions on the minutes? All right, that'll make a motion to approve the January 13th, 2021 planning board minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Come on. Wait, I don't know who did it. I think Kurt got it. John was very close second. No, you can't give up like that.
I'm giving up this meeting.
Unbelievable.
Roll call as follows: Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Abstain.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Kurt, you're on mute.
Warren,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by 601 vote.
All right. Got off to a rocky start, but I'm glad we figured it out. I think that's it, right, Allison?
Yeah, question, Allison, the easiest way for us to get the, our voucher to you is to print it, write it, scan it back in and email it to you? Is that?
If that's convenient for you, like Don can't do that, so he puts his in an envelope and puts it in the green box, the green drop box out front of town hall with my name on it.
Okay.
So whatever, whatever works for you
Yeah,
guys.
it's a PDF, so we can't. Okay.
Allison,
Yeah.
can I just make a suggestion that honestly, the East Greenbush town should have a voucher that's a printable PDF, not only for this board, but for all their vendors and all their other town meetings. Is there any way someone can do that?
Yeah.
And then it's an editable PDF. You fill it out online and you send it right back. You don't have to print it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know other towns, they provide me with that.
I'll see if anybody's got one, and if not, we'll make one.
I think you just need more, the more advanced Acrobat, right? And it's easy enough. I even electronically sign a lot of stuff at work.
Yeah. I don't want you,
Ralph.
Allison. There's got to be someone else that can do it for you.
Ralph,
yeah.
we've got, there's an Excel version that I can circulate that's fillable and printable.
Okay. That would work better for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't want you guys spending, 15 minutes trying to just get paid for attending a meeting that takes 2 hours for a minimal amount of money.
Adam, I think I've tried that one, and it seems like it needs to be protected. Like a lot of it, some more of the area needs to be protected.
Okay.
Because you want only the fillable areas to be filled in. If it's the same one that I had gotten previous, but by all means, send it to us.
Yeah, and Allison, do you want to? That's probably something for Megan and Mary to. Do you want to ask them? Maybe we circulate the Excel version as a stopgap, and then see what they think, because you're absolutely right. Like it's the same thing for all of our other vendors,
But even as far as the board, if you take the Adobe, if you go into Adobe, you can, just make it able so we can digitally sign them, right? Because if the board
the Excel version, we still have to print and sign. So.
Right. Like if you have a zoning a report or something, you got to add some text in there. So it really need the whole thing to be editable. So
can I demonstrate one thing quick on the screen?
No.
Please.
I'm just kidding.
Where did it go?
Matt's hungry.
Yeah.
He wants dinner.
I didn't have dinner yet, I'll be honest.
You're getting cranky.
So if you if you go to fill and sign, so I'm just using the standard version of Reader here. So if you along this side, you can, sometimes it's collapsed, but if you go to fill and sign, you hit this, and then like Matt was talking about, you're able to, and this is really slow, you're able to put checks, you're able to strike stuff through, but also you can upload signatures and just put your
go to the
Adam, I write the date, I write the plan, I write planning board meeting, blah blah blah, the so
like he's showing right now, you can do that.
And you can put in little X's or circles, but yeah, Ralph, you can add text with this fill and sign function.
Okay.
Well, I think if something billable like this really should be broader for the whole town, because whatever it is, it's got to be auditable. And if we come up with our own and start noodling around, it really should be an official document from the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the bright side, Adam signs them, so it'll be his problem, not mine.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let him go to jail.
Yeah, that jail, that special place for bad local bureaucrats. Yes.
I wonder if Ellen Pangburn would have any suggestions for this. I know, as town clerk, she, was focus at one point on really looking at digitization of all town records and files and paperwork and everything to a greater extent. Maybe she knows an easy way to do this.
That's a good point, Chris.
Yeah, I think we have a standard form. It's probably not as standardized as it should be, but we have Excel versions, we have Word versions, we have PDF, we have paper. So it's a good. So Allison, do you have enough to go on to, we'll do that Excel file in the short term?
Well, if these guys can hang tight till tomorrow or something, I mean, payday was just this week, so we have some time. Let me see and if they have anything. I know quite a while ago this was brought up, and for some reason they I don't know, we didn't have it, but that was a while ago. So let me just talk to Megan and Mary, and you guys just hang tight and wait to hear from me. And maybe they have something, and if not, we'll create something in a few days and get it to you guys.
Yeah, I don't think we need anything by tomorrow, right? So
no, I mean, like I said, it was just pay week, so we have at least a week and a half or so. So
yeah, I want to make sure it's done correctly and efficiently, so it's not a pain for people that work in town hall and the people on the board. Anything else? I like how Kurt just uses head nods and lets you know what he's thinking. I appreciate.
I don't want to keep hitting the button for the mute unmute. I can do this.
There's the reactions down here. You got to start using them.
Well, Kurt, if you stop talking about us, you don't have to keep muting yourself.
I will say I was on.
Just do this. Yes. No. Well, that's backwards.
That's what John was backwards. That's what John was doing last meeting.
Yeah, next meeting I'm bringing my hand puppets.
I will say I was on a video conference with Jim Moore in my actual job because we both work for the state and encounter each other once in a while. He's dressed much more nicely than he was then.
Really?
I don't know. His shirt wasn't great that day. But I've known Jim for a long time, so I feel comfortable saying that to him.
Well, that's fine.
All right. So
Hey, can I ask a question about our next meeting, February 10th, I think it is. I don't want to, bust any spoiler alerts, but I think that's the day that we said was the final date for the one project.
Your pond?
Blanking on the name of it, but do we have, Adam, do you know if any progress has been made or if we're going to be in a similar situation in 2 weeks?
Yeah, they've made a bunch of progress. County Highway signed off. We have the DEC sign off. So it's really the water system in Rensselaer County. And I don't know exactly where it stands, but I think they made a submission back to the county addressing their concerns. So I would expect that the board would be, the major issues, the board should have what it needs to do. There may need to be some conditions for things like the letter from the school district. There's some things in the subdivision regulations that constitute a final plat submission. Letters from like the National Grid, I think, is one of them. So we may, at your discretion, obviously, there might be some conditions around that stuff, but the major issues will be resolved most likely. The other thing is we got, we'll have our TDE take a final look at it as well. So they're kind of spun up to do it too.
So Adam, I would just ask that you push this off on you, but I asked that it would, if you could follow up with them before our next meeting, preferably like next week, so we don't end up with the same meeting in 2 weeks where, I don't want to get in that situation where we actually have to tell them that we're not going to approve it.
Yeah, I will, and I think we have a fairly complicated, not complicated, but it's involved, final plat approval resolution to put together for the board too. So we're going to need we're going to need to have a really good handle on that before next week. So yeah, I did meet with
I think
their
that
team.
project's like 8 years old, right?
Well,
If not
I
longer.
wanted to put together a timeline, but I'm not interested in, I'm not, masochistic,
No, I just mean if you look at the project number. I mean, when I worked it started when I worked in the planning department.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
That means it's 9 or 10 years old.
Adam, is it typical to approve the subdivision and have those letters come in after? I mean, shouldn't they have already had these letters to us from National Grid and from the other entities that you just mentioned? I mean, why is it that they still owe us stuff?
That was my, I think.
I just have a problem with that. I mean, I don't like to be a pain in the ass, but I really hate when we bend over backwards 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times and keep getting promised. And I know it's no skin off our back, but it's just it's ridiculous. They're making fools out of us, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't, if they come back to the next meeting and they're not prepared and they don't have their approvals, I'm going to tell them to go, counsel.
Well, that's what I'm asking Adam. He's saying that they may have this letter from National Grid. They may owe us another letter from Joe Schmo. They may owe, I mean, at what point is this going to stop?
Right.
So and this is, I think, in your, this is the board's decision, right? The one option is there's several conditions. They have, after they get approval, they have 60 days to file that plat. Otherwise it's null and void. So, it's on some level, it's like granting them a 60-day extension on some of those items. But if it's not filed, I don't know that there's any coming back from that either.
I think they would just come back and try to do the same situation that we've been going through, right? Just keep granting them extension.
The regs, and Joe may be able to chime in on this, but I think the regs basically say it's a brand new application. They come back through the front door. Now there's a lot of work that's been done, but they pay more fees, and it's new. The board can do with it what it wants. I think, like, we could rely on prior seeker findings. We could require them to go through a whole new process, so that might be one. Sorry.
They may try and argue once a subdivision is approved, it can be modified later and doesn't have to go through the whole process over, but it has to be essentially not sufficiently different enough where it doesn't have to go through the whole process again and have to look at the exact language.
And the only reason why I bring this point up is because, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but the owner pled his case at the last meeting stating that, he loves East Greenbush and this and that, blah, blah, blah. He hasn't lived a day in that house that he purchased over 10 years ago. He lives down in the city. He's not an East Greenbush resident like you said he was. And, he's basically an outside developer, and he has no skin in the game as far as the town of East Greenbush is concerned.
Yeah, and Ralph, to your earlier point, I mean, I think we were very clear at the last meeting when they came, right? It's their last chance. Get it done.
That's my feeling, but then Adam was mentioning these other letters, and that's why I want to be sure that, these other letters, is that typical, or am I gonna be the only guy that says no?
No, I'll be saying no as well.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, I didn't hear we'll be absolutely done, everything buttoned up, except a few letters that we're going to need, another 60-day contingency for. I thought we were clear that every I had to be dotted, T crossed by this time. I mean, we gave them a lot of extra time.
Yeah, Adam, I would convey that to not only the applicant, but their attorney as well, because he was the one representing them for quite a while.
Okay, I did meet with them last Friday. Kevin Boswell, Alvaro, and Andy Brick, and we went through I sent them the final plat checklist, so they've got all that stuff.
I just mean express, maybe reach out to them and express the opinions you've heard on the call.
Of the board. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do. We'll do.
All right. Everyone good? Jim Moore's probably eating dinner. He took his camera off.
Good.
All right. So let's see if I screw this up. Oh, there he is. He was mid-bite. I will make a motion to close the meeting, right, Joe?
Yes, you're getting really good at that.
You're getting so good at this. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand, whatever.
Aye.
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 All right. Everyone have a great night. Thank you for getting through the technical difficulties and
Go get your supper.
yeah. I'm at my dad's house. I have to drive home to my house now and get dinner. Tough being
9 o'clock's a little late.